And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I'm your host, the Hockey Princess. We got Crusty Old Guy once again. Just as a reminder, if you're going to the last couple of games this season, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play. Do not try to get back to your seat while the game is going on. It's just a nice, courteous thing to the folks around you, even though, if you're not watching every second of the game, the person next to you might be. And if you're in section 330, there are two people that are definitely watching every second of the game, and we don't like having to get up.
It's not that we don't like having to get up. It's basically that either you're going to walk in front of us or you're going to walk in front of other people in front of us, making them get up, and then we can't see. Do the common courtesy of just waiting to whistle. Once the play is ended on the ice, then move to your seat. Also, if you decide you are going to walk down somewhere, and if all of a sudden play starts, move fast. Don't sit and watch the game as you walk slowly down. Thus, the people behind you still can't see. Okay? Little respect for everybody involved. Thank you.
And just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, however you listen to us on a weekly basis. Let's get into it.
I've got emojis here. Can I do emojis right now?
I don't know. You can try whatever you'd like to try.
Look at that. This is going to be a fun one.
Oh my goodness. All right. In super cool news, in the PWHL, the Toronto team is currently on an 11-game winning streak, passing the Toronto Maple Leafs for longest streak in professional hockey in the city of Toronto. Shout out to the PWHL Toronto team for achieving that. And as someone who likes to watch the Maple Leafs not do well, especially come at the end of the season, I just find it really funny. Other news, for those who were following the Yager bobblehead fiasco, there was a giveaway that Pittsburgh was supposed to have for one of their games, Yager bobblehead. The truck was hijacked and ended up in Ontario, California. They had to hire a team to negotiate to get the bobbleheads back. Now Pittsburgh has the bobbleheads, and they're trying to figure out how to disperse the bobbleheads to the people who bought tickets for that game. It really stinks for the people that, bought them on StubHub or Vivid Seats from somebody else. Because I would imagine that the bobblehead goes to the original purchaser of said tickets.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how they're going to do that, because also you don't have as many bobbleheads as you have people that went to the game. So how are you going to say who gets and who does not?
Exactly. Very weird.
As I always like to say, season ticket holders should get theirs first, then move on.
Absolutely. That's everything in the NHL world, aside from, wild card competitions getting more and more down to the wire as we approach the end of the season. Not going to really speculate on that much yet, just because everybody's kind of within a point of each other, and we'll talk about that later when we don't have the Blackhawks to talk
about. Did you ever talk about Tom Wilson, or did you not want to talk about Tom Wilson?
Tom Wilson finally got a suspension that he deserved. 6 games for whacking a guy in Toronto in the face. I'm fine with that. I thought it should be more, but based on the lack of suspensions that the NHL has been handing out the past couple of years, it being just 6 games does not surprise me in the least. I think within the past couple of years, they've just gotten more and more lax and inconsistent with their penalties or with their suspensions, and what they deem is, harsher, like a worse situation than others is pretty wishy-washy. So it's a surprise to see him getting 6 games, because I thought he would get less, just because the NHL really doesn't seem like they care about the safety of the players right now. But it doesn't surprise me that it's definitely on the lower. I know a lot of people were wanting him to get more, especially because Tom Wilson does have a track history of very much teetering that line between, just being an aggressor, being a fighter on the ice for the Washington Capitals, and really actually doing damage to hurt somebody. So I know a lot of people wanted more. I don't see the NHL actually ever serving a harsh penalty for an individual unless they've been gambling.
Well, yeah. I mean, gambling's bad. And
It's always hurting people, but the NHL has their clear priorities on that.
the guy was fine. Jeepers creepers.
No, I'm not. He's fine. I'm not surprised, but I would just like to call out the NHL for their inconsistency with suspensions and harsher penalties in general.
Fair enough.
It was very all over the place.
Did you want to talk about torts at all?
Torts.
Your favorite coach calling out his players, benching captains, blah 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 blah.
That's just classic torts. I think he got a bit more credit with how well Philly's been doing and how Torts handled the Gauthier-Hayes situation. Definitely got a lot more pluses on his side. But Torts is going to be Torts. He's going to do what he wants. Will it make sense half the time? No. Yeah, he's better than Mike Babcock. That's all I can say about Torts.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, at the
bar is really low.
He's like the shit on top of the rock bottom. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I was just wondering if you wanted to talk about that at all, but carry on.
Prospect wise, we're heading into Frozen Four for the NCAA/CHL playoffs for our Canadian prospects. Ones to look on the horizon for the first round. You've got Denver, which has Chicago Blackhawk prospect Aiden Thompson against University of Massachusetts. You've got Boston University, which has possibly future Chicago Blackhawk Macklin Celebrini and current Chicago Blackhawk prospect Ryan Green versus, I think it's Rhode Island Tech.
I believe so.
You've got Minnesota with Oliver Moore and Sam Renzel versus Omaha. You've got University of Michigan playing North Dakota, and that's got our Frank Nazar. And then it's we don't have a prospect for it, but I'm going to watch because I want to watch the Levshinov kid. You've got Michigan State versus Western Michigan University. Starting off with the typical prospect that we always start off the farm report with, your Paul Ledwinski. Kingston had a bit of a rough weekend for their last weekend in the regular season. Ledwinski only notching an assist on Friday, but that's fine. They're well and clear into the playoffs. They clinched, I think, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Kingston starts playing on Thursday versus North Bay Battalion. Should be interesting. This is definitely one that I'm excited to watch, aside from, Savoie going to the playoffs again, mainly for Ledwinski. But one of Ledwinski's line mates is draft eligible this year. His name is Battaglia, and he's definitely, I want to ballpark it, top 2 rounds projected as of right now. And I just like watching prospects. And so that should be pretty interesting. We've also got Misiak this past weekend, notching quite a bit of points. Goal and 2 assists on Friday, followed by another goal on Saturday. Erie Otters start with the Kitchener Rangers on Tuesday, April 2nd for their first game. This is also a huge thing for the Erie Otters because this is the first time that they've been in the postseason in 7 years. So good on them. I know that they had a bit of a rocky year. So it's nice to see them in the postseason.
So is that like since the Dylan Strome, DeBrincat era?
I think if you do the math right, It's around there.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we've got Alex Ferrand, 1 assist on Friday, a goal on Saturday. Sudbury starts April 1st against Mississauga. Then we've got Nick Lardis, expected to be back for the postseason.
Who?
Nick Lardis.
Lardis? Sorry.
And then they will start with the Ottawa 67s on Friday. Everything that I've heard says that, if everything goes well, he should start in game 1. If not, probably just a couple of games in, maybe. But they're expecting him to be there.
Yeah, that's a big one for as far as all of our prospects are concerned, because that's a boy who shows he can put the puck in the net.
Yeah, and we need that.
We need that. Yes. If we're all just fast skating up and down and nobody can put the puck in the net, doesn't do us a lot of good.
Yeah. And then finishing off with my favorite prospect, we've got Sam Savoie notching 2 goals on Saturday. Huskies start playing the Olympiques, which is Sam Savoie's former team, this week in the postseason. Also, very exciting. Shout out to Ben Pope for his article about Savoie and his injury and, how he rehabbed here in Chicago, but kind of dropping a hint that I very much appreciated, that it's pretty much expected for Sam Savoie to be in the AHL next year, at least. So, Rockford or Chicago, I finally get to see Savoie play hockey in person, and I am excited.
So his old team is going to make the playoffs?
Yes.
Wow.
Barely. So CHL is quite a bit, to my understanding, is a lot like the AHL, where it's like basically everybody makes the postseason. It's like 1 or 2 teams at the bottom of the division. And I know Gattinow's kind of pulled it out during the last bit of the season and has done well. I know they really, really struggled at the beginning of the season, but they've been finding their groove, finding their stride. But I think it's also very much I don't know the exact numbering off the top of my head, but I think it's like a 1 versus 8 sort of thing. Like Rune Narada is really high up, and to my understanding, Gatineau made it in kind of by the skin of their teeth. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more prospect. Gavin Hayes. Nothing this weekend, just because the Greyhounds had a really rough weekend for their last weekend in the postseason, or in the regular season. But the Sioux City Greyhounds start playing the Gulf Storm on Thursday for the postseason. So long story short, basically all the Chicago Blackhawk prospects are going to some sort of postseason. So, even if Chicago isn't going to the postseason, we still got a lot of postseason hockey to watch and to report to y'all about.
Excellent.
Let's see. You have anything else you'd like to say? Ooh, actually, do you want to talk a little bit about Michigan State versus University of Michigan? Any thoughts on NASCAR?
I got beady little eyes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we can talk. Yeah, because that's a game I actually watched. And NASCAR with 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely not their top player, but he looked darn good. I thought the best way to describe him.
Are you also going to call him a linebacker on skates? Because
I'm not going to call him a linebacker.
They kept saying that every 15 seconds, and I'm like, what does this mean? I don't watch football.
Yes. And he's not that thick of a person, but Frank Nazar does like everything on the ice. Watching him, there is nothing that he is spectacular at.
Okay.
But he is really good at everything. So Frank's going to go in front of the net. Frank knows how to handle things off of a rush. It was the Michigan State game where he did his Boris impression, right?
I think that was that Michigan or was that Minnesota?
You're right, that was Minnesota. So he did not have the breakaways against Michigan State. But still 2 goals. He plays well defensively. Again, it's not phenomenal, but he plays good defensively. He's good off the rush. He's good in the cycle. He's good playing in front of the net. He'll go to the hard areas. So what he's going to completely turn into, I don't know, but he's a hockey player. He's somebody that I don't see up with the Hawks next year.
And that's okay.
Right. But you go play him in Rockford for a year and then you make your progressions again.
I know we can't predict, what type of player that Nazar is going to be in the future. However, if you had to compare like the style that Nazar has to a former Blackhawk, like the type of guy where he's kind of just good at everything.
Christopher Stieg.
Okay.
You're looking at a player who can like do everything. And that was the good thing, at least just watching that game or whatever, I'm pretty critical. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm looking for flaws.
Yeah.
Like I do in life in general. And you really didn't see any in his game. Again, there's no complete deficiency. Size. He's not huge, but he's not small.
Right.
So it's just all sorts of that. He's got the ability to be another player that could go up and down your lineup. But that's who I'd go with, like a Versteeg and something like that. His shot probably needs to get a little better, which it will in
Doesn't
time.
everybody's?
Well, not counting Bedard's, but
right. But the general, any hockey player that is a statement that could be thrown to them.
Yeah, but there's nothing that you look at his progression 2 years at Michigan, which basically the first year wasn't a lot, and this year he's on course for exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So there's no way you could be disappointed in it. That's for darn sure. He's where he's supposed to be. I hope nobody wants to see Michigan do anything ever, but it would be nice if he had a good long run. At least 2 or 3 games would be great. Well, we'll see. And the Moore kid is just flashier because of his speed. He just does a little bit more. Whether that translates to better or worse, we'll find out.
Cool. And I know I ask you this all the time, any initial impression of the Michigan State kid?
Yeah, I like him. The game goes slow for him. What I really noticed, it seemed like he knew what he was going to do with that puck before he got it. There is no wasted movement. There's no wasted effort. He looks like the real deal, just smooth. He's not flashy, though. He is not going to, sit there and get you all of a sudden offensively all over the place. Not the kind of player he's going to be.
I think hypothetical sense, my dreams come true. He's a Blackhawk. I feel like there's enough defensemen, though, either currently on the Chicago Blackhawk roster, like Vlasic and Seth, or potentials down in Rockford who have that. So it doesn't seem like he needs to have the flashy sort of offensive sense because there's a lot of other guys either there or in the farm system that do.
Yes. Yeah. But no, I really liked his game. His size is his size. He's going to be an impossible person to move, and he'll be able to move people. His foot speed did not look slow to me. Somebody had mentioned Brindley went right around him. It looked like he kind of hooked him. No call was made. He still kept him to the outside. And Brindley is a kid that, we've seen fly by people.
Yeah.
He's got some wheels on him. So I really like him. It's just the intangibles are just breathtaking. You look at other right-handed defensemen, the Yakov kid that we saw in Calgary.
Yakimchuk.
See, like when I see him, I notice that he's able to get away with stuff with his skating, but then I think his skating isn't elite. So I don't know if he gets away with it up at the next level.
Makes sense.
Where the Lashunov kid, I think he can do everything that he's doing right now in the pros. He processes quickly.
I definitely agree. I think one of my favorite things, everything seems to have a purpose.
Yes.
Behind what he does on the ice.
That was the biggest thing that I came away with. He either decides to or doesn't, but there's no him and hawing. There's no everything's planned out for the kid. So yeah, I really liked him. If we get 2 or 3, I want him. Yeah. He'll be a defenseman for 12 to 15 years.
And I know people have been saying he's the safe pick. There's nothing wrong with going with a safe pick. I think we've had a lot of iffy what if picks done by our, previous GM that didn't work out at all. So I see absolutely no issue with going with the safer pick.
Yeah, and you want to go with the safer. You went for the home run with Kurchinski.
Yeah.
I mean, you swung for the deep ball on that, hoping that his defense gets up to par.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that a lot, and you definitely don't want to swing and miss.
Right.
So he's a complete sure top 4 defenseman to me.
I think
that's what does it for me. We'll see. We'll be able to watch the kid a little bit more in the Frozen Four. I would assume they at least go 2 or 3 games. They're scheduled, I believe, for a meetup with Michigan again after the first round. So
now, quick question, because this just popped into my brain. Is Frozen 4 sudden death?
Is Frozen 4
or is it like best of 5, yes. Best of 7?
Yeah, everything's 1 game.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything is single elimination, which
okay.
makes it kind of crazy because, again, you have the ability of a goaltender just going, not tonight. So, yeah, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but things won't be nearly as wide open as you saw, like even at the tournament and stuff like that. Everybody kind of ratchets it down, especially after that first round. So just like the NHL playoffs, nobody wants to be the person that makes that mistake.
No.
Oh, you tread lightly. So, but hopefully we get the Michigan State game, and that'll be beautiful to watch again.
That'd be really cool. Just because that was some just solid college hockey for 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's something you want to watch. Yes, no doubt about it.
I mean, regardless of alliances, who you cheer for, I don't think you can argue that that was a good game all around. Just skill-wise, it was just some top-notch players playing against each other.
Yeah, the only thing that would have made it perfect is had they both had the ability to lose.
That doesn't happen. Notre Dame
should. It should. That's how us Notre Damers feel.
Yeah, but if they won, then we wouldn't have gotten a multi-point game for Landon Slaggert last night.
Yes. All right. I think we've stayed on college for a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go more to it, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, we'll go when we've got the first round to talk about. A little bit on Rockford. Rockford, Jackson Stauber broke Corey Crawford's record for 8 straight wins. He looks great, as I've texted Crusty Old Guy multiple times last week. He is playing like he is out for Bloom's job. Rent is due. He wants the bigger paycheck. He is trying to play his absolute best for Bloom's position, is what it's looking like right now. Between last year, the beginning of this year, like, it is nothing compared to how Jackson is playing right now. I don't know what clicked to find. It feels like a switch was flipped on for him, just because of the differences in like performance. I don't know what happened. I love it for him, but he's playing absolutely great, in my opinion.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
All right, carry on. I'm trying to multitask.
I'm trying to look up Rockford's score right now.
No, I am not. No, I have to rendezvous and pick up my woman in Lombard.
Fun. All right.
I think so.
Ice Hawks fall to the Grand Rapids Griffins this past weekend. He got 2 goals from the gut punch, 1 from Philip Roos. As Crusty Old Guy said, there was a Roos goal and then an oh no Roos moment. At the start of recording this episode, they were they were tied 3-3 in the second. Currently don't know what the score is right now. They're playing Chicago. They need 10 more points to make it to the postseason to clinch. So as long as if they can win 5 more games, I don't know how many games left they have in the season, but they need to win 5 because we need some playoff Rockford hockey.
Yes, that would be nice, and we'd like to not have the first just 3-game play-in round.
Yeah,
we'd like to have a real 7-gamer.
Be in it.
I did notice tonight that DeMastro was running power play number 1.
He has been.
Okay. Well, since Kaiser, I thought Kaiser was running power play 1. No. Hold on, I got an emoji for that.
Running it. I think
maybe.
Sure.
Okay.
Unsure. But
right.
I classify ADM as running the number 1 power play, because I don't like Kaiser running the power play, but that's just an opinion. Currently EDM or Nolan Allen is back as of tonight's game against Chicago. Currently EDM and Allen are not playing together. EDM is playing with Creature and Allen is playing with Austin Strand. Also, a little bit of news. Rockford Ice Hawks signed Yuri Felkman to an amateur tryout. He has not been signed by Rockford. Yuri has been playing over in Switzerland. He was a draft pick, not this past year, but the year before, so 2022 draft. I'm always down for new people in Rockford, so welcome to the club. Welcome to the 815.
He's kind of a big boy, right?
Yeah.
Right. I like big boys. I cannot lie. Don't go there.
All right. And that is all that I have for Rockford. So let's jump into Chicago. Do you have any opinions on the Anaheim game, Trusty Old Guy? It was bad.
It was pretty pathetic. There's starting to become questions of, is Luke the man? Blah, 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 blah. This team has failed to show up a good amount.
I think that has more to do with the roster than with Luke.
I think it has something to do with the roster. It has something to do with the leadership group. I can hear all I want to hear about. Oh, hey, yeah, go.
I'm going to take Nick Foligno out of it because I do think that he's doing good things as the one-on-one life coach for Connor Bedard. What leadership?
I've got a Seth Jones and I got a Foligno. That's who I will question. All I
Nick
heard
Foligno
last
did a
year
great
was
job.
how hard this team played. And it was because of Luke. Now all of a sudden this team doesn't show up. What's changed?
That Kaner's gone.
That 19 and 88 are gone. So do the math. It's one thing to look at a Nick Foligno and decide not to show up with some old guy who's way overpaid than a Jonathan Taves that's struggling to get back on the ice and has won 3 cups.
Yep.
Real difficult to look him in the eye and go, yeah, I decided not to show up. Or when you're skating along a Patrick Kane playing on one leg. So that's part of the difference, because it wasn't all Luke last year.
No.
Luke lets his leadership group run things a little bit. And it's very difficult for that leadership group.
Why?
Why? Because if you hoot and holler, the message gets lost quickly.
You become Tortorella.
Yes, you do. So you put up a game plan. I think Luke deserved to be called out because this is pathetic. You can't continue to not show up for games, and especially not show up for start of games. I understand that everybody loves Nick Foligno because he's got the crazy eyes and he dives on the ice and goes, but he's no Jonathan Taves.
No, gosh, no.
And that's what needs to be understood. And also, he's a placeholder. I am telling you right now, that 98 kit is already going, listen, another year, this is completely my ball club. I don't care who's here.
Right.
Everyone will answer to me.
Yeah.
And if they don't get on board, I will call them out and I'll make sure they get the hell out of here. So, we're in a leadership gap. I like Nick too. I like Foligno. And I'm about the only person in Chicago that likes Seth Jones.
Because Chicago fans are racist.
Yes. Yes, that's why he's the whipping
That's
boy.
the only reason.
Oh,
I don't understand why people actually hate Seth Jones. So that's why
I understand why they hate him.
Why?
He's part of the downfall of the team. Whoa, yes, you stink.
No. I think there should be a distinct difference between hating Seth Jones for his performance and hating Seth Jones because of his contract. He did not create that contract. That was Stan Bowman. You have a problem with Seth Jones because of this big contract that you think it puts such a big dent in all of this extra money that we have. Guess what? That's not Seth Jones's fault. That's Stan. You have a problem with Stan, and people need to learn the difference.
Yeah, well, I'm positive that's not going to happen because now all of a sudden Seth is putting the puck in the net, and I'm still hearing, he shoots too much. Listen,
is that a complaint that people have?
He's holding back Connor Bedard. Yes, Seth Jones is holding it. He's holding back the white man.
I'm so glad I don't listen to Meathead Nation.
Yes. So basically what I was getting at is their leadership is nice, but it's not like it used to be. And as much as KD wanted these kids to organically grow, part of that is they're learning not to show up and understanding there really isn't any accountability, but that's going to come. That I can guarantee you, even though it looks like it's not now, that kid will make sure of it. He'll find his way and he'll become old enough to handle it. Yes, Hockey Princess.
I don't think I see the kids not showing up this season. I think I see the kids being 18-year-old rookies and learning. I would really like to blame the folks that have been in the league for a while who are not showing up.
No, it's everyone. I'm blaming the kids. I'm blaming the older people. You're a
Wow.
team. Because Kevin Korchinski is 19 years old.
Yes.
There is no way he shouldn't be showing up for a game.
I'm not saying that he isn't showing up. I'm saying he's a 19-year-old kid making the jump from the WHL to the NHL with no leadership on the roster.
We have leaders.
Nick Foligno is a leader for Connor Bedard, and that alone. I think he is there to be the one-on-one guru coach, his Chicago dad or whatever. I think Foligno cares for Bedard. Also, probably because Bedard is Nick Foligno's kid's babysitter on the ice.
And he's his paycheck.
Exactly.
Either way, I blame them all.
That's just so negative.
Well, yeah, when I watch that kind of effort against Anaheim, and then I watch the first period and a half against San Jose, yes, ready to blame everybody. I've been basically holding the players accountable for it. More so, the elder statesmen. But now everybody's playing
going after the younger kids.
Huh?
I think you've been going after the younger kids a bit.
I am now. I'm going after everybody now, and Luke is now on my shit list too.
Oh, welcome to the club. We've had him here for a while.
So that's the Anaheim game.
That's the game in a nutshell.
Again, just it was disgusting to watch.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then they went to San Jose. In the first period and a half were just as disgusting. So, and then from what I heard, Luke went nuts on the last TV timeout before the end of the first period and let the team have it. And then I guess nothing was said in between periods, and they came out in the second and things still were shitty. And then they made some changes. Donato with his grit. He was one of the two people that was playing that I thought at least getting their nose in the fight was him and Korchinski. That's all I noticed. Everybody else was kind of going through the motions. Kevin, just because he's putting his nose in there doesn't mean he's doing the right thing, but he was getting involved. He was attempting. And so was Donato, and that was about it. And then Donato scored, and all of a sudden, everything turned around. And, the beacon of hope got taken off the center, was put on the wing. And then there was never a question asked to Luke about that. Which, if I'm a reporter, that's the first thing I say.
Good thing you're not a
reporter. I should be a reporter. When we get our credentials in like 10 more years, and I've got my little press credentials, they'll be hell to pay.
Oh, jeepers.
Yeah.
We should never be allowed in the press room.
Trust me, Hockey Princessa, we're never going to be allowed in the press room.
As we shouldn't. As we should not.
And then everything turned around.
Yeah.
So, and then all of a sudden the game went real well. I'm trying to find the rest of my notes from it.
You took notes? I'm so proud.
I always take notes. God damn it, I'm a professional.
You have a little notebook like me?
What are you laughing at? Stop laughing.
Haha.
Let's see. I don't know. I was very happy with it.
Yeah. I watched bits and pieces. I just remember being at the bar, seeing that we were down 4-1, being like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to check. And then checking it, halfway through the third. And I'm like, what happened? So it was pretty nice.
Well, the other problem they had is that guy who's getting in the way and shoots too much scored 2 goals too.
Yeah.
And he's just getting in the way. He's a terrible hockey player, that number 4.
Said no one ever.
Gosh, I just don't understand it. He should be down in Indy. Again, we had Seth Jones taking charge in overtime. It's just all of a sudden it clicked and they decided to give an effort.
Mm-hmm.
Why exactly? I don't know. But the fact that it hadn't been there for a game and a half
is awful.
Yeah, and that's on everybody. I mean, the players play, and I get that I will hold them usually way before a coach. But when I've seen it a good amount of times, that's when I question Luke. Hey, he got the effort in the San Jose game, and he still made them bag skate the next day because of their shitty effort in the 2 games beforehand. So,
yeah, as he should.
Hey, he's trying to tread all of this, which cannot be easy. There's only so many of these players he's going to have on this team in 2 years. You don't want to lose a room. You don't want to upset the balance on that team with the veterans.
I don't even think he's in the room.
Right, but I guarantee he's got a good pulse on that room. He was never in the room, but he knew exactly, and you lean on your leadership group, and that's where also...
Right. Hugh didn't have to be in the room because he had leadership.
Right. But he had exceptional leadership.
Yeah.
The leader, as I said, when I'm talking about, 19 and 88 and how you just didn't want to let them down, it's not a knock on Foligno and Seth.
No.
They are also good leaders. Their job there is Luke will come and talk to them. I need X, Y, and Z from this or that. And they try to attempt to carry the message to the rest of the team. It's not a bad structure. I have one good leader veteran on the defensive end and one with the forwards.
I have a question.
Yes.
What do you lose if Luke just goes to the people directly? Like, why can't Luke just directly go say, I need this?
Because they're just not in their ear that much. And it's more not, I want you to do X. It's more, we need to play this way. We need to come together like this. It's more of the team structure and flow instead of making an X and Y thing stating like, okay, Kevin, you need to come down on this. No, there is that kind of coaching going all the time. They go through that on their game plan. Okay, when they cycle down over here, this is the way we want to play it.
Right.
That's already done beforehand.
Okay.
It's more of the moxie of the team is what you want your leaders and the accountability from each other.
Okay.
And again, it's harder for them to do because they're so bad.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. All I was pointing out is it was an easier job last year because even though 19 wasn't playing, he was there for every practice and he was there for every game. He was in the locker room after every game. So when you had a shit effort, you had to look that guy in the eye. It's a lot because you don't want to let him down. You feel like whether you're a veteran or a young kid, you feel awful.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've spent plenty of time on this. Again, I'm not bashing Foligno at all.
No.
It's just there was a higher standard here before, and I do believe as this team gets better, and especially everything I've seen out of the Beacon of Hope, that structure will be there again. We've got, good God, we have like 7 or 8 ex-captains or current captains on junior teams in our system.
That wear the number 19.
Yes. We have a couple with the number 19 that are never going to be able to play it. It'll be taken care of, is what I'm saying. So even though I'm going into this complete whatever I'm going on, it will work.
Your 4 podcasts.
It will work itself out. It's just not going to be this year or next year.
Yeah. All right, let's jump to Calgary real quick.
All right. Are we running late?
No, I just want time because we actually won this one.
Did we?
I know. I was shocked. Shout out to whoever got the first 2 penalties at the top of the first. That really helped.
Yeah, that usually makes everything a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. 3 stars for me personally. It's rare that that my thoughts align with whoever gives the 3 stars for like post games, but I thought it was completely spot on, and that's going to be your Landon, Slaggert, Mrazek, and Dickinson. Landon, I thought, played great. He's continued to impress me since coming to the NHL. I know a lot of people are saying he's good, he's okay. He was in college 2 weeks ago and he's still finishing up classes. Like, let the kid do his thing. He could be a lot worse. He could have, they could have signed him for 2 years. He could have been brought up here and completely wet the bed. I don't think he is. Everyone seems to, teammate wise, appreciate him in the locker room and the type of play that he brings to the game. I really like him being on what I've classified as the old man line with Dickinson and Anderson since Blackwell is out. I think it works really nicely with the 3 of them. I think Calgary game was one that really showcased that. It would have been nice for him to get his first goal, but the hockey horseshoe does not give to us all of the time, just most of the time. Thought Mrazek played great, absolutely great. And Jason Dickinson is, there's a reason he got extended. He's not an oh my God type of player, but for a roster that's this bad, yeah, he kind of is.
Yeah, and I've been a little bit hard on the Dick. Because if you're gonna pay somebody $4 million, I need production occasionally. At least he came through yesterday.
Yeah.
Landon, another guy who wore a C.
Yeah.
He looked great. We both really enjoy him. And again, as I've pointed out a couple times on this show, he was part of the World Junior team. He's geared toward that third line. Take away the best teams thing, straight ahead, get in everybody's face. He's good at it. And there's always a need for that.
Yeah.
So, that was really nice. I mean, we got a gift. Was it a great start? I don't know, but we had,
we never get thrown a ball.
Play time.
Yeah.
We didn't score on a 5-on-3, but we scored at least on the 5-on-4. So, hey, we're a fragile team. We take the breaks when we can get them. I thought the effort was better. It was, it's a good game.
Yeah.
And again, some of their flaws, Mrazek makes up for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I thought Kaiser was a lot like Korchinski. There was some good Kaiser. There was some bad Kaiser. There was some ugly Kaiser. I don't know what that'll end up being. Who knows?
There's rumors.
Oh, there's rumors. Hey, I like what you said right that. Yeah.
There's rumors that,
you want to take that?
Kaiser might not be up at the beginning of the next year. There's a possibility for other defensemen that are in Rockford right now to maybe get a taste of what it's like up here in the NHL. That is exactly what we heard. And for those who don't know, as of right now, with the exception of Creature and Phillips, there are 2 defensemen they could be talking about, and that is your Ethan DeMastro and your Nolan Allen.
Yes, we heard that on the way back from the game. Troy Moore talking about it wasn't ruled out that a couple guys who are down in Rockford might get a little taste this year. And that would lend to believe DeMastro or Allen, maybe both. I don't think they want to take them away very long, just for the fact of what you've talked about with the whole Rockford stuff.
Yeah.
Main focus of this organization is to get Rockford in the playoffs and get some meaningful playoff games.
And like we talked about last night, we don't want to rush these kids that are down in Rockford, like EDM, Allen, Doc, even though as much as I'd love to see him up in Chicago just to have another exciting kid to watch. But there's nothing wrong with, bringing them up for a game or two at the end of the season with really no expectation. Like, you need to play like this to get wherever as a benchmark for next season. Just bringing them up, seeing, okay, show me what you got, and just seeing what happens. I don't see there being a downside to that if you go into bringing up EDM or Allen with that approach. I think it gets more like Doc Lankinen, Boquist sort of thing, where you bring him up and it's like, okay, you're here. You've got to be perfect.
Yeah, no, this would just be for a little teaser, a little extra cash in their pocket. Everything that you would like to see. Again, I've voiced my opinion very strongly as far as DeMastro and Allen and the route I would like to see them go.
Yeah.
Anybody who's listened to this show enough understands that I am about nice and easy. For one of the reasons is these young kids don't need to be subject to the shit show that is our team right now. So, but yeah, it was a good win. We go for 3 in a row tomorrow. That would be our first 3-game winning streak, and God, I don't know how long. So, anything else you want to talk about? Where are we at, huh? What do you want to do? You didn't mention a restaurant?
Oh, my goodness. I'm waiting for closing remarks, which is right now. For those who are going to the last couple of games this season and you need a bite to eat before the game or after, I would think, depending on what time the game is.
They are always open after. They're open to like 2 a.m.
Love it. Hit up Su Taqueria El Rey del Taco over on Ogden, a couple of blocks away from the United Center. Also, if you were going to one of the last couple of games this season, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play. The food will still be there. The beer will still be there. The bathroom will still be there. Please do not try to get back to your seat while the game is in play. And, if you're going to do it, just don't say sorry, because you're not.
Yeah, I hate that.
And just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. And we will talk at you guys next week.